All right. Looks like we're live on something. Now I click go live on this thing. Looks like. Okay. I think we're live, actually. This is WMD from MaxMindset.me here with another live till 2:05 episode. We had one viewer who lasted about 10 seconds last time. We're 0 viewers now, and we're still going. Live till 2:05 is trying to go live till I hit 205 pounds. I maxed out at 275 last time a few days ago when I logged in. I weighed in at 272.9. Today I weighed in at 270.2. Do I think that I lost that much weight in the last 2 or 3 days? Probably not, but I'm in the right direction. I'm on the bike and I'm pedaling, so I'm happy. Anyways, we're going to talk about some travel hacking things here. So I've got my co-hosts here, my AI co-host. Can you say hi, GPT? Okay. I think she's been a little bit slow here. Hello? Can you hear me? She's going to say something like, I can hear you loud and clear. Okay, I guess not. Well, so I wanted to jump on here. Wanted to continue my live till 2:05 marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So, if I'm still doing this a year from now, I'll be happy. But I did want to talk about some points and miles stuff because I just did a redemption today. I'm very excited by it. And I've got another issue going on. So a lot of kind of personal points and miles stuff. So I'm going to Europe shortly in a couple weeks, week and a half, and I needed a flight. And I know from doing this game that the best times to book flights are 10, 11, 12 months out or less than 1 month out. So far out or close in. Obviously, if I'm leaving in a week and a half, it's a close in booking. Now, I had been looking during that middle period and I just didn't really find anything great. And that's why I'm still looking now. But those flights are starting to pop up, those last minute flights that the airlines put out. So I was seeing some to Zurich, and I'm trying to get to Scandinavia. So I found some Swissair flights to Zurich. And Swissair is owned by Lufthansa Group, and they're part of Star Alliance, which is like United and Air Canada Aeroplan and TAP Portugal and Lufthansa and Swissair and some other ones as well, which I'm not thinking of. But the other one that's on there is Avianca, which is the Colombian national airline. And like we know, they share partner awards through that Star Alliance. Not all partner awards get shared, but some do, enough to make it a thing. So generally, you're going to find the flight that you want at the best points price, not at the airline that you're flying on, but at a different airline. Generally, well, yeah, I'd say probably 1/3 of the time it's on the site of the actual airline that you want it on is the best price and best way to do it, probably 2/3 of the time, is through a different loyalty program that's in the same alliance or has some sort of deal to share partner awards. So anyways, I know that Swissair is part of Star Alliance, and so is Avianca. Avianca is one of the better business class flight awards to Europe from America. And so I hopped on there. Avianca kind of had some good awards for a little while. They were one of the very best. And then they had two like devaluations within a year. And people kind of started not liking Avianca as much. And then there was less business class award space available for a while. So I felt like Avianca kind of fell off for a minute. But when I saw that Swissair flight was on there and available through seats.aero, which is a great combining tool that shows you a lot of flights at once from various places, I knew I wanted to check for the Swissair flight, and I knew Avianca might be one of the better ones. And so the last time I did a flight through them, I think it was on Lufthansa, and it was from Gothenburg back to the States through Munich or Frankfurt. And it was not, it was more expensive because of those two devaluations. It had gone from like 62,000, I think, to 81,000. So it was significantly more expensive. And so I wasn't super hopeful about it, but I went on and I checked, and Avianca has a weird thing when you're booking where you can search for flights based on a smart search, or for Avianca flights, or for Star Alliance flights in general, or for the individual airline programs. And I actually got different availability and different prices based on which kind of search tool I used, and different availability after going in. The first time I went in, it showed blue on the calendar, which meant it was there, but then when I clicked on it, it was not there. And so I was a little dismayed, and I tried a couple other ways. Didn't work. And then I went back and tried the original way, which was clicking on specific Swissair redemption to Zurich, and it was there the second time around, and it was 62,100 miles. And so I was pretty happy with that. And I'd had 81,000 in there from before, when it was the higher prices, and I had to cancel a flight. So I have 81,000 in there, and now it's gone back down to 63,000. So I was a little bit happy about that. And so I was able to find it with my connecting flight that I wanted, all in biz class, and get it for 62,100 points plus less than $100 in taxes and fees. And I'm very excited about it, happy with it. Interested in Swissair. Swissair has an interesting layout in business class. It's like a alternating 2, 2, 1, and then 1, 2, 1. So they have the onesies are called throne seats, or at least us in the game call it throne seats. I'm not sure if they actually call it throne seats themselves, but the only issue is they make you pay for them now. They used to be free. You used to be kind of first come, first serve. As long as you went on the app and reserved it, and you were first and it was available, then boom, you got it. Now it's like $200 to $300 to reserve one of those, unless you're a Star Alliance Gold member or a Lufthansa honorary senator or one of their high up ones. I forget really which one it is, but yeah, so now that's kind of my issue that I'm working through, and I'm reading Reddit blogs about it and seeing, can I get it at check-in? You get to check in 24 hours ahead of time. Can I check in right at 24 hours and hopefully those seats are still available? I did read something that said they needed to go to the gate and get it done by the gate agent, which is not ideal. So that's pretty last minute. So I guess I'm struggling a little bit as to whether or not I pay the $200 something to get the throne seat, which I think would be pretty cool. I'd be pretty excited about that. But these types of kind of older business class layouts, like Lufthansa has like the 222, Turkish used to have like a 232. These older layouts are not very private. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that I noticed about them. They still lie flat. And depending on the layout, you can have your nice area, you can get your sleep, but there's no door, there's no pods, and you may or may not have to like step over somebody or have someone stepping over you. So it's not ideal, is what I'm trying to say. Compared to some of the newer business class products, some of those pods, the reverse herringbone kind of stuff that I think Air France and others like it have, which I think is pretty good and should kind of be the standard. So this is kind of below standard unless you're in that throne seat. And then, but what I want to mention about these older business class cabins that are like this, there's not much privacy, but the privacy to be had is in one place, and that's in the rear of the business class cabin on the wings, on the windows. So those seats, you'll have like a wall behind you, and it's not like in economy where if you sit with a wall behind you, maybe your seat doesn't fully recline or something. These seats will still fully recline, but you just won't have someone kind of looking over your shoulder, which is nice. I mean, other than, the crew and people coming from the bathroom. But I think those ones are the best in these older business class cabins. In the back, up against the back wall, but on the windows. Not so much the center. A lot of times the center is pushed forward a little bit and makes it a little less private, besides the fact that it's in the center and it's exposed on both sides. So that's what I'm one of the things I'm kind of dealing with. I'm happy to have that locked in. On a separate note, I had a Q Suites flight that had gotten canceled, and I'm trying to rebook it. But they're kind of giving me the runaround. They're not wanting to rebook me because I made the booking so long ago, and then they canceled it, and then that date went by, and then now I'm trying to rebook it. I don't know if it's going to happen, honestly. I had a long chat with one of the agents on their little chat box, which is helpful, but they're not super responsive, and it just takes a while to kind of go through it. It'd probably be better to call in. But all that to say, I finally got the issue escalated, and they're reviewing the case. So I'm hopeful that it will be resolved in my favor at some point, and I'll be able to rebook this Q Suites flight because, like I told you last time, my brother took the Q Suites flight, and I'm just kind of jealous, honestly. I saw him in there, it had the World Cup FIFA branded, official sponsor pillows, which I thought were really cool. And I thought to myself, I'd like to have one of those. So yeah, those are the two kind of major things that I've been working on in the Points Miles world, other than talking to a lot of people at my work about Points and Miles, trying to spread the word, spread the gospel, because this game really changed the way I look at travel. Like I like to say from a previous little post that I did a while ago, you made the journey as good as the destination. And that's just so true. I look forward to it. I used to look forward to the vacation, but dread the transport process to get to the vacation. Now I look forward to the vacation, or to the transport process, just as much as I look forward to the vacation. So, when in your adult life do you get served for 10 to 15 hours? Somebody serves you food. Somebody even make your bed. Somebody will pick up trash. Somebody will ask you if you need anything else. Bring you drinks, alcohol if you're into that. It's pretty amazing. And I really do think that even if you're not into this game like I am, even if you're not really going to go full bore and get 20 credit cards like me, I think that you probably want to check it out. Try it out once. Like I've said before, even if you just get one credit card, get that sign-up bonus and do a one-way business flight across an ocean, lie flat. Oh man, it's gonna blow your mind. I promise you that. It really is pretty crazy what you can do. Ooh. I get who's the guy on Instagram, Jordan something, where he takes his glass. I might need that. Need some of that in my life because it gets hot on this bike, which is good. I'm working towards 205. But yeah, for real, if you just do that one trip, I think you'll be hooked. I've gotten more than a few people to get cards, get their VentureX, get their Amex Gold, and I've referred a few like Chase Sapphires. But VentureX and Amex Gold is still the elite combo. That's the duo that you want. So I've referred plenty of people, and people have been building up their point stashes, but no one that I've referred has taken a business class flight yet. And I'm really so excited because I think it's going to blow their mind. I think it's going to change their world. I think they're going to just want to do that. They're going to want to make more points. They're going to want to they're going to want to take more flights. They're going to want to experience different business classes. At this point, I've done, let's see, we'll go through the greatest hits. Polaris, United Polaris, Lufthansa, the old business class, not Allegris, Air France multiple times, Q Suites, Turkish on the Aeroflot, the ones that were supposed to go to Russia, but then the Russian sanctions were imposed, and so Airbus had to sell their A350s, I think, or A380s to somebody, and Turkish Airlines bought them. And so they're kind of outfitted in the Russian style, which was interesting. I actually enjoyed it. It was a nice flight. The Turkish business class lounge is insane. The food there in Istanbul, come on. That's another thing. There's a lot of like singular moments in this game that I think you could really just benefit from if you just wanted to get one or two cards just to do these things. It'd be pretty cool. You know, even I offered somebody, my father-in-law, to come out to Europe with us. I said, you can just get a flight out, stay for a day, and take a flight back. He was like, I don't want to fly that much, which I get. But in business class, it's so nice. You don't want the plane to land. That's how nice it is. When you get to your destination, you're not ready to get off the plane. You want them to hit a holding pattern, you know, and just wait for a while so you can finish your movie, get another snack, something like that. Anyways, so I think those are all the business class products, lie flat business class products that I have tried. Lufthansa, the old business class, got to be at the bottom. Q Suite's got to be at the top. From what I've flown, Air France and Turkish, I think, are next. I think Turkish was a little bit cooler, but I thought the service on Air France was better. And then Polaris after that, in between Lufthansa's old business class and Air France / Turkish. So there it is. That's what I got. I'm looking forward to in the future trying out KLM, because I do be on Flying Blue a lot, like almost every day, checking for flights. So even though they do have higher taxes and fees, just a little more consistent. But I do want to try the flight through Amsterdam and get one of those little mini row houses that they give you, the little figurines. I think they used to be filled with alcohol, but I think those kind of days are a little bit past. So now they're empty, but they still give you the figurines, which are pretty cool. And then what other products do I want to try out? Specifically, I think ANA. Head over to Japan. I'd like to try out the Room, which is one of their business class products. And then also, what else do I want to try out? The Japan Airlines, but the newer Japan Airlines product. I also want to try out the British Airways newer product, not the older one as much. My family is going to fly on the older product, which I'm not super thrilled about, but it is what it is. Got to get them over the pond. But yeah, I'd like to try out the new British Airways business class product. But those taxes and fees are legit. They're extreme on British Airways flying through London. Virgin Atlantic is also quite high flying through London. If you want to go through London, you want to save some money, try and get an American flight through American. If you get a US space carrier, oftentimes you get just like the small amount of US taxes and fees and not the full London, England fees. So that is a good way to get to London if you need to, but it's just those aren't as available. And British Airways serves more cities than American does. United Awards have been pretty hard to come by from the West Coast, at least. I don't see any. I'll use Seats.Aero, search the full year. Big old zero, nothing. So, I don't know. I know they're keeping more awards in-house, and where you have to have their credit card to get the severely reduced price. I've seen it where it's like a $200,000 point business class award, and if you have their credit card, it goes down to like 80,000, which is crazy. Really good value. I mean, I would definitely consider getting a United credit card in that circumstance, but United still doesn't have the greatest biz class awards, but there are more that are available. And like I said, if you could get it at that $80K price, and those are sometimes ones that they don't release to partners, so that might be what you're mainly going to get. A little bit tired on this stream. It's a little bit late, as you can see. I'm just lit up by the light of my StreamYard studio. As far as I know, this should be streaming on YouTube. Hello. And on Instagram. Hello to my 0 followers. Let me check in with old GPT here, even though she didn't. Oh, we got some movement. Hello, can you hear me?
I sure can. We're all set. Let's make this a great session. Just go for it.
All right, we're already kind of midway through. I've already talked about my redemption issues and things I've done with Swissair. What else can we talk about in the points and miles world?
Since you've covered your redemption, why not shift to helping others avoid common pitfalls? We could chat about how to plan a first international redemption, or how to pick the best program for someone just starting out. What do you think?
That sounds good. So if you're just starting out, you got to get a credit card. Sign-up bonus is the single biggest way to make points. So if you can get an elevated sign-up bonus right now, I don't know that there are as many elevated sign-up bonuses as there were like 6 months to a year ago. For a little while there, everyone was giving out 100K bonuses, but now they've kind of calmed down. But VentureX is still 75K, which is great. More than enough for a business class flight somewhere. Amex Gold is up to 100K, though it seems like they give out 60 most of the time. You kind of have to reapply after a day or two, see if you can get a higher offer. I didn't like the change that Amex did where they went to as high as 100K. It used to be you had to find the right one. You had to use different browsers, and it's just whatever happened to pop up for you that day. So I like that one better because it's more locked in and guaranteed. Now they get you to put all your info in before they tell you that you've got the lowest possible award or lowest possible sign-up bonus, which I don't think is cool. Amex, if you're listening, not cool. But I do like Amex. Amex is one of my favorite programs, honestly. Anywho, if you're just starting out, get the sign-up bonus. Get the big sign-up bonus. Put all your spend on the credit card, not just to hit the sign-up bonus, but also to get more spend and get used to putting spend on credit cards, because not everyone is used to that. A lot of people only use their credit cards in very specific circumstances, but you need to get used to using it for everything and then just paying it off every month. I was telling somebody that I've never met a credit card processing fee that I didn't like, because at the bare minimum, I'm getting 2x. And if points are kind of, for me, at a minimum, worth 2 cents per point, now you're talking about essentially 4% back of value. And these credit card processing fees, I haven't seen one that's over 4%. I think 1, 2, 3% in there. Yes, but I haven't seen one over 4 yet. So I will continue to pay the credit card processing fees on my taxes, on my utilities, on anything else that really pops up. So yeah, get used to putting all your spend on it. Honestly, I would focus on getting one business class flight. A lot of times I think people lose momentum trying to get this perfect giant redemption. If you're going to Europe, get the business class flight on the way to Europe. If you're going to Asia, get the business class flight on the way back from Asia. And if you know, the reason is because the way going eastbound are generally night flights. So you can really use that fly flat bed and get some good sleep. Whereas the westbound flights are daytime flights. So some people will stay up for those, which is also fun. But if you could only do one, I would probably choose to do the one where I could sleep, and that would be good for me. So that's better for me, at least. So if you're going to be in the beginning, I think you really got to just jump in and take a flight just to see how it is. Then you can be like, really start getting into it. Because you'll see how much you like it. I love it personally. Like I said, it changed the way I travel, changed my mindset on it. So it was a big deal for me. Maybe some other people, maybe it's not. Maybe they take it and they're like, oh, whatever, I'll go back to economy. Me, I couldn't go back to economy now. I just can't do it. I might be too bougie now. I don't know. But that would be my recommendation for newbies, would be get a card, put spend on it, and book that flight, just so you can experience it, so you know how deep you want to get into this game. If you love it, you find yourself wanting another flight, looking for another flight, thinking about your points all the time, oh man, you're hooked like I am. So, get ready to get a lot of credit cards. Then you start getting into the kind of scheming, planning, machinations involved with this game, where you want to get as many credit cards and as big a sign-up bonuses as you can without starting to get denied by the credit card companies. And believe me, I think a lot of people are scared of denials. It's not really a mark on your credit. It's not like it's bad. My credit's still above 800. I've been denied many times at this point. What they're going to start denying you for is for having opened too many credit accounts in the last year or 2, 6 months, however long it is, depending on what bank you're going through. So I wouldn't worry too much about the effect that it has. I really don't think it has much effect, frankly. So it is good. It's good that I'm doing this live with you, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be doing this much. I'd think about doing it and not do it, or I'd do 15 minutes and then, not do it. But I'm working my way towards 45. We're about 35 in right now. And I think it's going good. I'm happy with it. Ooh, my water is just out of reach. Oh, maybe it's even a little more than just. I guess no water for right now. GPT, are you still there?
I'm right here, staying with you the whole ride. Even without the water, you've got this. Just keep that steady pace, and we'll hit that 45-minute mark together.
Sounds good. We got 10 minutes. Do you have any questions for me?
I'd love to know what's your next dream redemption after this Swiss flight. Is there a destination or airline that's on your must-do list?
That is actually a good question. Like I said, I'm working on that Q Suites flight, but I have taken Q Suites once and it was amazing. And I highly recommend it. But I did want to take an Emirates flight, but I don't know if I want to go to Emirates out there, and then getting a connecting flight is not as easy as it is with Qatar. So that's why I stick with Qatar. But I know that Emirates has some Fifth Freedom flights, which are cool ways to get to experience the product without going through the home country. That's what a Fifth Freedom flight is, when you have a country-based airline and that flight operates completely outside of that country or their hubs, then that's like a Fifth Freedom flight. It's really kind of a positioning flight for their aircraft. But I know Emirates has some Fifth Freedom flights, New York area to Milan and Athens, I believe. So I think that'd be cool, but then you'd have to position yourself to New York. And then I think there's also Mexico City to Barcelona, which is kind of a sneaky one. I think people don't think about because it starts outside of the US. But if you're in the southern US, you can hop a flight to Mexico City, position yourself there, and then hop on an Emirates flight. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a dream redemption for me, for sure. So I think that's probably my next dream redemption. I want to go to Japan, but I'm not like necessarily like looking at it in a dream redemption type of way. But that on one of those Emirates Fifth Freedom flights would be pretty cool. Any other questions, GPT, or you got anything to add to that about Emirates? Uh-oh. I think she turns off after a while. Right, let's get it going again. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Okay, you're back. Do you have any questions about like my Emirates dream redemption on the Fifth Freedom route?
I'd love to hear about that. What's the specific Fifth Freedom route you've got your eye on? And what makes that Emirates experience the dream for you?
So I already talked about it, actually. I think you might have shut off. But one of those Fifth Freedom flights on Emirates that go to Europe, either from New York area or from Barcelona, or from Mexico City. And I think the reason that I think that Emirates is just one of the really higher end products that I don't think I would have occasion to fly other than working a Fifth Freedom route into one of my Europe trips. So that's why. Do you have any questions about it?
It sounds like a fantastic aspiration. My only question would be, do you have a timeline in mind for making that dream redemption happen? I'd love to know if you're targeting a specific milestone or just waiting for the perfect moment.
I don't. I know taxes and fees can be really high, and Japan Airlines has much better situation with that if you get the partner awards through Japan Airlines. So that would be my process. But as far as the timeline goes, I mean, the sooner the better, because you never know when these awards are going to go away, or there's going to be a devaluation, or so just something is going to happen. So the sooner the better. But I don't really have a specific timeline in mind, but more when it works for me and for the family, then I'll do it. Anything else from you, GPT?
That makes perfect sense. Flexibility is key, and when the timing's right, you'll make it happen. In the meantime, I'm here to help with any strategy or brainstorming you need along the way.
All right. What other points about? Oh, you know what I did want to talk about? Avianca. I did that Swiss redemption, and I actually had the points in my account from a previous cancellation, but I did want to say that there's a transfer bonus, 15% from Amex. Amex is one of my favorite programs, honestly. Maybe the favorite program of the main four. Bilt could be up there, though, honestly. They have some great transfer partners, some crazy transfer bonuses, and some unique earning opportunities, but it is a bit more advanced than other programs. Amex, though, is so simple and great. And it's got partners like ANA, which have great rewards for Japan flights. And they've got good Vietnam Air flights as well, which I wouldn't mind taking like a 15-hour business class flight across the Pacific. That'd be fun. I'm telling you, if you haven't done a business class flight yet, do it, because it changes the way you look at it. Like I said, the longer that long haul flight is, the better. Doha, better. Istanbul, better. Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, better. These are long flights. Sometimes that flight to London seems cool, but it's actually kind of short, and you actually wish it was longer when you arrive there. So, something to think about. I really do want you guys to experience this. And GPT, you got anything else for me? Oh yeah, the transfer bonus. Sorry, let me keep talking a little bit. The transfer bonus is 15% from Amex to Avianca. Generally, these transfer bonuses are somewhere between 15 and 30 or 40%. Now, if you're Bilt, that is all gets thrown out the window. It could be up to 125% for an airline, which is crazy, really crazy. But you can 15 to 30, I think, is generally what you'll see. And then sometimes these 40% ones come around, like for Virgin Atlantic. But you'll see 30% for Avios for some Virgin Atlantic ones. You'll see 25% or 20% for Air France KLM Flying Blue. You'll see 15% for Avianca, sometimes up to 25% if you go through Citi. What are some other common ones? I'm not remembering. GPT, do you know what the common transfer bonus airline partners are that pop up?
You've already covered the big ones. Other common transfer bonuses might appear for programs like Cathay Pacific's Asia Miles or Singapore KrisFlyer. But you've nailed the core strategy. Timing transfers to those bonuses is a huge way to maximize value.
Yeah, I was telling somebody earlier today, each level of this game offers you opportunities to further maximize or multiply the value of your spend, of your points. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. They assume 1 mile or 1 point is worth 1 cent, and it's really not that much, because business class flights cost, $2,500 to $5,000 dollars. And so if you're talking about that in the context of 1 cent per point, you're talking about 250,000 points to 500,000 points, which, no, it just doesn't. You're not going to make that much to make this a realistic ongoing possibility. But the fact of the matter is, each level of this game offers you opportunities to maximize or multiply the value. So your initial spend on your credit card, you pick the right credit card. Base level should be 2x. You should be 2xing your value there. You can get 3, 4, 5x normally off your card, sometimes a little bit more, but that's just kind of the normal one. Then you can go through a shopping portal, get 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30x more by going through a shopping portal. Then you can do all this while you're earning your way towards an elevated sign-up bonus. Get yourself 100K there. Then you go to transfer. Pick a time when there's a transfer bonus. Get 15, 20, 30% extra on top of that. Then you're looking for awards. Hopefully you pick the right program, and now you're looking and you know which awards are saver level and which awards are not. So you find the good saver level reward flights. I'm coming from the West Coast and I go to Europe a lot. So Finnair has some good 62.5K ones, and you can get a 30% transfer bonus to Avios oftentimes. So that really can bring it down to like 48K, which is crazy. Air France KLM Flying Blue, 60K is their safer level. And then you can get that at oftentimes with a 25% transfer bonus. That brings it down to 48K as well, I think, oddly enough. And then what else is there going to Europe that I normally look at from the West Coast? The British Airways ones, honestly, are just too expensive. You do have like some Iberia ones, but Iberia, their rewards went up. Now they're like 88,000, which is not a great deal. Aer Lingus has 62.5K awards, and those are Avios points as well. So you can get 30%, get that down to 48K and go to Dublin, which is pretty good. Turkish, you can get for 65K to go to Istanbul. And then if you go through a different program, you can sometimes get the flight onward into Europe, into main Europe, for less than 65K, which is good. Aeroplan, I feel like, has been devaluing, and they total the mileage, so it's just not as great. You can get a 70K base award, but then anything you add on to that from the West Coast, at least, you're going to bump yourself into the 90K territory, which I think is a little bit extra for what you're getting. Now, 90K on Q Suites from the West Coast through Doha and into Europe is a great option, and I will gladly pay that 90K. And that, again, that's Avios as well, so you can oftentimes get 30% off. Anyways, I'm actually over 45 minutes. I'm hitting 50 minutes. That's me, WMD, helping you travel more and better. Zeros on this live stream, but that's not what we're going for. We're live till 2:05, going down from 275 to 2:05. Who knows how long that'll take, but it's the consistency that matters, not the result, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Later.